Okay, guys, this is just your review for the Unit 7 test, which we'll be taking tomorrow. What I would like you to do is make sure you pause the video or stop the video entirely and then go complete as many of these problems as you can on your own and then come back and finish the video. Okay, so if you're watching this video, you should already have the answers on your sheet with all your work ready to go. Number one, when we look at it, it is 3 times 20, which is, or 30 times 20, which is like 3 times 2, and then adding the zeros back on. So hopefully you guys kind of remember that process. So let's come take a look at that. It should be 600. My mouse is not wanting to work today. There we go. 600. Okay, because 3 times 2 is 6. Same thing here. 7 times 14 is how I look at this, so 28, and then add my 3 zeros on. 5 times 6 is 30, and then I'm going to add 2 zeros on. Okay, coming down here, 10 times 7 is 70, right? So I start with 70, and then I think about how many places over I need my decimal. 1, 2, 3 in the factors, so 3 in the product. 1, 2, 3, put my decimal and a 0. So it's really 700ths. 3 times 6, again, I just ignore that decimal, is 18, and then it's 1 decimal place over, so it goes right here. I got my numbers really close to each other. Let me erase that and write it more neatly for you. Okay, so 1 8/10. Again, 4 times 8 is 32. Because it's 80, I'm going to put a 0 on, but because there's a decimal in the 4, I'm going to put the decimal place over 1. So it actually ends up being 32 again. Okay, coming down to a little bit more long multiplication, we're looking at 7 times 2, which is 14. Carry my 1. 2 times 4, which is 8, plus 1, which is 9. When I move on, I have to put that 0, the hero, place value. Okay. And then 6 times 7, right? 6 times 7 is 42. So I'm going to put down my 2, carry my 4. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 4 is 28. And then I'm going to add going across. Okay, 4 here, 11, carry my 1, 9, 2. So 2,914. If that's hard to read, 2,914. Okay, so these are just some basic multiplications. I'm going to go ahead and just write the answers to the rest, and then if you have questions about the answers that I got, you can we can discuss those in class tomorrow. So mark any that you have questions on. Don't just write down the correct answer. These all work the same as that first one that I did. Okay, this one's a little bit different because there's decimals, so just remember, multiply it like it's 62 times 93, and then go back and add the decimals in. So if you multiplied like it was 62 times 93, you'd get 5,066, but there's 2 decimal places in the factors, so there have to be 2 in the product. Same here, multiply this like it was 458 times 71, but again, there are 2 decimal places, so, or 3 decimal places, so you'll move that decimal over 3 places. So you get 32 and 518. Okay, rounding to the nearest whole number, 5 says shove up, okay, it tells that 7 to bump up, so it's going to be 8. Rounding to the nearest 10th, 5 says to bump that 4 up, so it's going to be 5. Rounding to the nearest 100th, 8 says to bump up, so it's going to be 57 hundredths. Okay? Some story problems here. Pablo's car can travel 38 and 5/10 miles on each tank of gas. How many miles can it travel on 10 tanks of gas? It would be like multiplying 38.5 by 10, which really just bumps that decimal over, so we can go 385 miles. Okay. Jessica earned $85 a week. If she worked all week, 52 weeks in a year, how much money will she earn? So we're doing 85 times 52, okay. 85 times 52 is $4,420. And again, if you're missing any of these, just mark them and we can talk about them. You can talk about them with your table group and figure it out. Okay, the next one, Mr. Solomon's cornfield measures 79 6/10 meters by 34 meters. What's the area? So again, just multiplication times 34, right? And then you would go back and put your decimal in one place over. Remember, because it's area, it's square meters, so 2,706 4/10 square meters. Okay, so that's the front side. Remember, mark any that you didn't get. Let's go on to the back side. Now we're on to division. So front side was multiplication. This side is division. This first one, it's like 72 divided by 8, and then putting that decimal back in. 72 divided by 8 would be 9, but because of the decimal, it's 9/10. Remember, the first number is the one that goes under the division house. So if you were to write these out the other way, this one, for example, would look like 63/100 divided by 9/10. Remember, you're going to move your decimal over one place to get those whole numbers. So it's 9 into 6 3/10. If I brought my decimal up, it'd be 7. Okay, 7 goes into there, so 7/10. Hopefully for some of you, these are kind of mental math problems. 48 divided by 6 thousandths. Well, 48 divided by 6 is 8, and then because it's thousandths, I actually end up adding 2 zeros on. Okay. Going to the next division problems. Again, I think I'm just going to write the answers down, mark any that you don't have because you should have these complete before watching the video. So first one is 37 4/10. Or sorry, 4/100. Okay. 43 even. 58 even. Okay. And 3,400. Okay, again, check your answers. If you got something wrong, let's come back to class and talk about them. Number 22, Nadia needs the mean of her scores. Remember, mean is where you add it all up together and divide by how many there are. So you're going to add these, then divide by 5 because there are 5 scores. Okay, so if you added them all up, when you add them, just so you know where your step is that maybe you could have gone wrong, 87 plus 83 plus 96 plus 92 plus 82, you should get 440, and when you divide that by 5, then you're going to get 88. Okay, so we said how to solve it, and then 88 is our answer. Okay, so make sure when you added them, you got 440. Okay, next one, there are 16 members of the Shady Oak softball team had a bake sale to raise money for summer camp. They made $740 and they're going to share it equally. How much will each person get? So you're taking 740 and dividing that by 16 people. Remember, because it's money, you're going to go out to 2 decimal places. Okay, when you go out 2 decimal places, you should find that each person is going to get $46.25. Okay, next one, Joseph ran 12.5 miles a day for 25 days. How many miles did he run in all? You're going to multiply on this one. 12.5 times 25. Okay, as you work that out, it's multiplication. You should get 312.5. All right, I'm not going to answer this bottom one because I want you to be able to explain it, and then this is where we'll start with our table group tomorrow. So hopefully you guys have all of these done, and here's where we'll start.